Welcome to Yehoshua's Daf Yomi Shiur, where the Daf continues daily until the complete revelation of Mashiach ben David, Messiah the son of David. And now we will be studying Tractate Chullin, page 96, starting with 96a, and we were in, I would say, an interesting topic of things that were observed and then if they weren't seen for a time, does that affect the thing? In the case of meat that wasn't looked on for a while, they call it basar she'nesalman min ha'ayin, and there are other cases of this nature. And there was a situation where there was sky blue wool that was prepared for tchelet, for tzitzit, and so Rabbi Natan bar Abaya lost a certain amount of that, and he came and then he found it, and then he came before Chizah to ask whether the wool was prohibited because it had been obscured from sight. It may have become confused with other blue wool that is not valid for ritual fringes. So Rav Chizah said to him, if you have a distinguishing mark, and he said no, and Rav Chizah said, can you recognize it if you looked at it? And then he said, yeah, I would recognize it. So he said, go and take it, it's fine. As long as you can recognize it, you're all right. So then Rava said, at first I would say that a distinguishing mark is preferable to just simply visual recognition, because we return a lost item to its owner based on a what they call a siman, a distinguishing mark. Okay, that's the subject we're talking about. And now that brings us up to our daily daf. 96a, top of the page, with the words Vela mehadrinan betviyut eina. So Rava says we don't return a lost item simply due to if the owner simply based on visual recognition. But now I've heard these statements pertaining to meat or sky blue wool that were obscured from sight and then permitted based upon visual recognition. I say that visual recognition is preferable to a distinguishing mark. I'm not sure why it's preferable. He could have just said it was equal. Why did he say it's preferable? I don't know. That's my own question. I don't know why he says preferable. He could just say that visual recognition is equal to a siman. Okay, I don't know. He doesn't say why he says it's preferable. Okay. Next. Okay. Di'ila tema ha'achi heichso memutar b'ishto ubni odom eich matar minishois malaylo. Furthermore, one must hold that sensory recognition is reliable even without Furthermore, one must hold that sensory recognition is reliable even without identifying marks. For if you do not say so, how is it that a blind man is permitted to engage in sexual intercourse with his wife, despite the fact that he cannot identify her by means of her identifying marks? Well, just off the top of my head, I'm just imagining now. But there's a lot more you can tell who's your wife besides for seeing. There's her sound, her voice, there's her scent, there's her general body feel. There's many. I don't see what the thing here is. Why would you think about that? Why would you even ask that question? If a blind man is if a person was born blind, either way, if a person became blind, for sure not. If I'm saying he would really recognize her, but even if he was born blind and he got married to a woman, he would know that woman from many, many factors besides for just seeing her. So why would you even think that that's an issue? All right, that's my own question. Anyway, let's continue. A blind man is permitted to engage in sexual intercourse with his wife, despite the fact that he can identify her by means of her identifying marks. And similarly, how are any men permitted to engage in intercourse with their wives at night, when it is dark and they cannot see their wives' identifying marks? Well, first of all, you can have a candle, right? It's like a dimly lit room. That's number one. But two, like I said, whether you're blind or not, there's many, many ways to identify their wives. They're going to say that. Rather, one must say that they identify their wives based on their voice recognition. Okay, here too, In these cases of lost meat and sky blue wool, they remain permitted based on visual recognition. But there's more than just voice. There's general body feel. A person knows how they're... I'd imagine. I mean, I'm married myself. I'm saying you could know your wife, how her body is, and also how she smells. Everyone has their unique scent of their body, or the feel of their hair, or the feel. There's so many factors. I mean, Anyway, but this is what they wanted to say. All right? Okay, here, too, in these cases of lost meat and sky blue wool, they remain permitted based on visual recognition. Amar Rabbi Yitzchak berei Rav Mishalshia teida. Te'ilu asu b'trei ve'amri palanya v'asimane katan lafsha. Lo katlina le v'ilu amri islan tevi'u seina b'gave katlina le. Rabbi Yitzchak, son of Rav Mishalshia, said, you can know that visual recognition is preferable to a distinguishing mark because if two witnesses came to court and say, so-and-so, who has this distinguishing mark, and that distinguishing mark killed a person, we would not kill him based on his testimony. But if the two witnesses say, we have visual recognition of him, and they confirm that the accused individual committed murder, we kill him based on their testimony. Amar Ravashi teida, te'ilu amar lei, inish l'shluchei kare. That was written in the Talmud. I'm just kidding. All right. What was that? Amar Ravashi teida, te'ilu amar inish l'shluchei kare lepelanya nai simani v'simone sovak yadalei sovak lo yadalei v'ilu islei tevi'u seina mikabei tichazilei yadalei. Ravashi said you can know that visual recognition is preferable to a distinguishing mark because if a man says to his agent, call so-and-so, who has this distinguishing mark, and that distinguishing mark is uncertain whether the agent will recognize him and know whom to call, or whether he will not know him. But if he has visual recognition of him, when he sees him, he will know it is him. Mishnah. Alright, it's the Talmud, now to the Mishnah. Mishnah says, Hanoi tilgid hanoshe tzorishit kulo. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Kidei likayem bo mitzvahs netilo. One who removes the sciatic nerve must scrape away the flesh in the area surrounding the nerve to ensure that he will remove all of it. Rabbi Yehuda says, scraping is not required. It is sufficient to excise it from the area above the rounded protrusion in order to thereby fulfill the mitzvah of removal of the sciatic nerve. Ha'oichem nigid kazais soifik arbaim ach lo vin bo kazais chayov achal mizeh kazais umizeh kazais soifik shmoinim. Rabbi Yehuda Omer Eino soifik el arbaim. One who eats an olive bark of the sciatic nerve incurs 40 lashes. If one eats the entire sciatic nerve, it does not constitute an olive bulk. He is nevertheless liable to receive lashes, because a complete sciatic nerve is a complete entity. If one ate an olive bulk from this sciatic nerve in the right leg, and an olive bulk from that sciatic nerve in the left leg, he incurs 80 lashes. Rabbi Yehuda says, he incurs only 40 lashes for eating the olive bulk from the right leg, and he is exempt from eating the olive bulk from the left leg. That's a Mishnah. Now we start the Talmud. Zog the Talmud, Zog the Heilige Talmud, ay, 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 ay. Okay, Bar Pule Habikom Kame de Shmuel Vikom Menakir Atma. Havaka Gaim Le Amar Le Chot Betfe Hashta Lo Chazetach Safit Le Isura. A man known as Bar Pioli Bar Pioli was standing before Shmuel and was removing the sciatic nerve from the leg of an animal. He was cutting out the nerve without scraping away the surrounding flesh, in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. Shmuel said to him, "Go down further and scrape away the flesh in order to remove the entire nerve." Now, if I would not have seen you and instructed you in the process of removing the sciatic nerve, you would have fed me forbidden meat. Bar Pioli became afraid due to Shmuel's rebuke, and the knife fell down from his hand. Okay? The knife fell down from his hand. Shmuel said to him, "Do not be afraid. I do not think that you are an ignoramus or a wicked person. You are removing the sciatic nerve as you were taught. The person who taught you must hold in accordance with the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. And this is how he taught you, Take, to remove the sciatic nerve. But I hold that the entire sciatic nerve must be removed in accordance with the opinion of the first Tana." Omer Rav Sheishes, "Mai dishkal Bar Pioli, de'raiso leRav Yehuda, michlal dishar deRabbonon, leRav Yehuda ela lo eirelach, kemai lo eirelach." Rav Sheishes said in explanation of this incident, that which Bar Pioli removed was the section of the sciatic nerve one is required to remove by Torah law according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. The Gemara asks, based upon this statement, one can derive by inference that he left behind the section of the sciatic nerve one is required to remove by rabbinic law according to the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda. But if so, in accordance with whose opinion did the person who taught him how to remove the sciatic nerve teach? Even according to Rabbi Yehuda, he would have transgressed a rabbinic prohibition. Elam Rav Sheishes, "Mai dishaked Bar Pioli de'raiso, u'ma dishar deRabbonon lo emer di Rabbi Yehuda afilu melchon shari." Rather, Rav Sheishes said that which Bar Pioli removed was the section of the sciatic nerve that is forbidden by Torah law, and that which he left over is forbidden by rabbinic law according to the opinion of Rabbi Meir. As explained above in 92b in a Braita, as if one were to follow the opinion of Rabbi Yehuda, the section that Bar Pioli left over is permitted even by rabbinic law. I'm sorry, not Rabbi Yehuda. Don't get confused because sometimes it says Rabbi Yehuda Shmuel. So no, it's just okay. Now, Amar Shmuel the Mishnah teaches one who eats an olive bulk of the sciatic nerve incurs 40 lashes. Shmuel says the Torah prohibits only the part of the sciatic nerve that is on the rounded protrusion of flesh shaped like a spoon that is near the end of the femur. This is as it is stated in the verse, "Therefore the children of Israel eat not the sciatic nerve that is upon the spoon of the thigh." Genesis 32:33. Amar Rav Papa, Ketanai achlo, vein bo kezayis chayav. Rav Yehuda Omer, ad shehei bo kezayis. Rav Papa says the statement of Shmuel is subject to dispute between Tanaim, as it is taught in a Braita. If one ate the entire sciatic nerve and it did not contain an olive bulk, he is nevertheless liable to be flogged. Rabbi Yehuda says he is not liable unless it has a volume of at least an olive bulk. My time de Rabbonon. Rav Papa explains how this relates to Shmuel's statement. What is the reason for the opinion of the rabbis who disagree with Rabbi Yehuda? They hold that the sciatic nerve is a distinct entity. Therefore, even if one eats less than an olive bulk, it is a significant act of eating, and one is liable, Ganse. He's liable. Alright, we'll stop here. Continue on with the next Amud.